the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Coming up in the news at noon, surveying the damage. We'll have the latest on the investigation after a car crashed through the wall of a daycare in Northeast DC. And later, we're stretching your dollar with the possibility of the COVID-era student loan payment pause ending. We'll have ways you can save while paying back your loans.
And it is turning hot and it's hazy out there for your Friday. Are we still on pace to hit the lower 90s across the entire area? We'll have a full check of your forecast in just a bit.
Thank you, Damon. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. Developing now, a car crashed into a child care center in the district early this morning. Now, almost 8 hours later, the scene's still active as crews work to get the car out of the building on Eastern Avenue Northeast, and parts of the street still blocked off. DC News Now's Tosin Fakile has reaction.
The owner of this child care center says this year would mark 3 years at this location. She says they take care of over 40 children. The owner, members of the community, those who work here, and parents say they are glad that nobody was here when that car went through that daycare.
Thank God it didn't happen during business hours.
It wasn't what DeJuan Saunders expected to see when he got to the daycare on Friday morning to drop off his 3 kids.
Just thank God for, actually, protecting the children. Whoever did this, they just need to be prayed for.
DC Fire and EMS reported the car in the building at about 4:30 on Friday morning on Eastern Avenue Northeast. Through the morning, officials say crews assessed the integrity of the building and worked with utility on power to the child care building. A child care center Saunders says he's been coming to for 7 months and is grateful for.
So I actually got favored into coming to daycare. My wife needed to start working. This precious family helped us out, actually get in. They took very good care of our kids.
I love the children, I love the staff, and I wouldn't exchange them for anything.
Jakaya Jackson was disappointed to see what happened to a place where she's worked at since last year. A place she says feels like more than work.
Very devastated to see and sorry that this happened. But at the same time, I thank God that the children, no staff were there in the building, and that's the most important thing. But it's a family-oriented daycare. I will continue to work and be a good support to the owners as well as to the family of the center.
The owner of the business says they are talking to the insurance company, and once the car is pulled out of the building, they will board up that side of the building as they work to figure out what's next. For now, we're in D.C. I'm Tosin Fakile for DC News Now.
Tosin, thank you. The owner of the child care center tells DC News Now that her main concern is what to do about graduation that's scheduled for June 30th at that location. The good news, no one was injured. DC Fire and EMS reporting a crash involving a dump truck. They say the truck overturned at Minnesota and Pennsylvania Avenues in Southeast. Officials say that other vehicles were damaged. DC Fire requested a hazmat unit because of a spilled fuel. They say the driver left the scene. No injuries were reported. Happening now, a rally against gun violence just got underway at Freedom Plaza. It will be going on all afternoon. Alex Juarez brings what to expect and how it's different from similar festivals.
Well, the rally today will include a mixture of calls to action and people sharing their personal experiences. To kick things off, an hour of yoga and meditation to get everyone in the same mindset and promote healing. 5, 6, 7, 8, we are prevention! For the 3rd year in a row, the Trigger Project is putting this event on, filling Freedom Plaza with community members dedicated to stopping the cycle of violence in the city. Multiple organizations and district resources are present, exposing people to the solutions they may not have known were available.
If they come out and support this type of event, they will get a lot of resources that they need.
As violence continues to rise in the city and violence among youth specifically, this year's rally is making an impact by having the city's young people as key speakers.
It's not too many people that give a lot of these children in DC a lot of chances and not willing to work with them, and that's all they need. They need somebody that, that's, hold their hand sometimes.
Well, the rally will be going on until 4 this afternoon. The Trigger Project will be live streaming the event on their social media platforms for those who can't make it. In Washington, I'm Lex Juarez, DC News Now.
Lex, thank you. Prince William County police are identifying the suspect wanted in connection to a triple homicide At a Woodbridge, Virginia home, 28-year-old Daniel Quinones is accused of shooting 4 people, killing 3 of them. The incident happened last week in a home on Birchdale Avenue. Police are asking for the public's help in finding the suspect. A $10,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to an arrest. We're taking a live look at the Washington Monument this Friday afternoon. Today is set to be the first 90-degree day of the year. Meteorologist Damon Matson joins us now with the latest check on the forecast. And Damon, all week long you said this day was coming. It is here.
It indeed is, yeah, and this is going to likely be the first 90-degree day officially here in Washington, D.C. We've had some locations across the DMV already reach that mark, but again, widespread lower 90s expected. Now, you may have noticed in that live shot toward the Washington Monument, not only is it hot, folks, but it is hazy. We have some very low air quality today because of wildfire smoke from nearby New Jersey and also up in Canada, on top of the fact that this air, with how hot it's getting, it's also very stagnant. It's not moving around much. So we have a code orange air quality alert across much of the DMV today. If you have sensitive breathing issues, you want to stay inside if you can, and if you have to be out and about, please take it easy. That air quality is not going to be the best straight through the rest of the day today. We will hopefully start to see some improvement in that tomorrow. Here's a check of those temperatures. Again, we are just past 12 p.m. and it's already 85 in D.C., 88 in Frederick. We're pretty much soaring right through the 80s as we head into the afternoon, and that just shows that this warm-up, it truly is on here across the entire region as we make our way toward those lower 90s. So expect more of the same here. A lot of sunshine despite all that haze in the sky, and there you go. As we approach the 2, 3, 4 o'clock hour, that is when we'll see those temperatures reach that peak there. 90, 91, 92 degrees across most of the viewing area here, and it's going to stay very, very warm as we head even toward the evening time. Now, tomorrow, a cold front arrives. It's going to bring a quick end to these warm temperatures, but could it also bring about some much needed rainfall across the entire viewing area? We'll have a check on those rain chances and more coming up here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. Well, the debt ceiling deal is one signature away from going into effect. The Senate approved the deal with just days left before the deadline when the U.S. would go into default. Now the bill heads to the president's desk. The deal passed 63 to 36 in the Senate. It received support and criticism from leaders on both sides of the aisle. Some say the bill does not do enough to control spending, while others say it cuts too much spending in areas like defense. Included in the bill is the Mountain Valley Pipeline Project. West Virginia lawmakers support the pipeline, while Virginia Senator Tim Kaine argues the pipeline should not be a part of this deal.
If you put pipeline permitting in the hands of Congress, then people will try to buy Congress off.
I call it the most valuable pipeline that we have to offer energy to the people of America.
The benefits of this are going to be tremendous, both on the energy security side and on the economic side for our state.
The debt ceiling bill moves forward. The remaining permits needed for the project. Now, if the president signs it, will go into effect on Monday. Also in the debt ceiling deal, a provision putting an end to the COVID-era student loan payment pause. So if the president signs the bill, as expected, borrowers will have to start paying back their loans in August. And it would be the first time that borrowers would have to make payments since March of 2020. Back then, the average payment was about $460. The bill also prevents President Biden from issuing another last-second pause when the current one ends. Experts say that restarting payments could put a big financial strain on people who may already be struggling financially.
I think it's going to be difficult for a lot of people, and that, along with the other cutbacks, will begin to slow down consumer confidence and consumer spending. And this famous recession that we've been predicting, we've been saying that for 2 years, that may actually come to pass.
And meantime, the Supreme Court is going over President Biden's partial forgiveness plan. Well, if you do have loans, experts say to start preparing to pay them back now. They say that you should wait to make the payments until the freeze officially ends, and you can put that money into a savings account. Experts say to talk with a financial advisor and learn about your options, and a payment plan can certainly help. And finally, if you can't pay, learn about the possibility of a loan default and how it could affect your credit. Well, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says that Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App customers should not store their money in the apps for an extended period of time. Experts say the apps are not a traditional bank account, and they add after recent bank closures. The money may not be safe during a crisis.
I'm just hurt to my core. I'm ashamed to live in the District of Columbia.
Yeah, you just heard from the brother of Bernard Baker Jr. His brother and the rest of the family say that they're still looking for answers following his death in late April. The family says delays in the district's 911 call center and a lack of urgency from fire and EMS contributed to his death at the home in Northwest. Now, fire and EMS officials say that they did nothing wrong. 911 call center officials promised last month to share findings of an internal investigation. Family says that they've not heard anything. Another woman says that she experienced the same thing. She says EMS sent emergency services to the wrong address when her father needed help.
The lack of accountability, the lack of urgency. It breaks my heart to know that people are still passing, lives are still being lost.
There's been no official comment from the call center on when they will meet with the family. Meantime, Baker's family says that they are looking into legal action to find justice for Bernard Jr.